Have you ever wondered what truly makes a man wise and deeply respected within his community? In today's fascinating video, we will explore the ancient wisdom shared by a remarkable 75-year-old woman from the serene village of Hillcrest. Nestled among lush green hills and tranquil landscapes stretching to the horizon, Hillcrest is not only a place of natural beauty, but also a treasure trove of profound life lessons. At the heart of this village is Madame Cara, a woman who embodies grace, quiet strength, and wisdom that transcends generations. Madame Cara is no ordinary woman. With her meticulous observation and deep understanding of human relationships, she has devoted her entire life to uncovering the true meaning of intimacy. Her teachings go beyond the physical aspect of connection, revealing the enduring power of dedication, respect, and love that is cultivated over time. She emphasizes that true intimacy does not stem from fleeting passion, but from steadfastness, devotion, and the ability to nurture relationships so they can endure a lifetime. But that's not all. We will explore how a small act of devotion can transform personal relationships and impact an entire community. Through stories passed down from generation to generation, Madame Cara demonstrates that love and care extend beyond two individuals, spreading harmony and fostering connection on a much broader scale. Her lessons help improve oneself and inspire others to enrich the lives of those around them. These are not just simple stories, but timeless lessons that can completely change how you perceive love, connection, and relationships. Stay with us until the end of this video to discover how embracing this wisdom can enrich your life. You will learn invaluable methods to build deeper relationships, nurture respect, and create harmony. Trust me, you won't want to miss the priceless lessons hidden in this extraordinary story. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any meaningful content in the future. Your support is a tremendous motivation for me to continue spreading these valuable lessons. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and join me in spreading these positive values further. With her snow-white hair flowing gently around a face marked by the passage of time, Madame Cara seemed like a living embodiment of tranquility and depth. Her face, etched with wrinkles, bore not just the signs of age, but also served as a testament to countless stories, joys, and sorrows she had endured. Her eyes, bright and clear like two precious gems, radiated vitality and profound understanding. They not only saw the present, but seemed to hold invaluable wisdom and timeless secrets collected over decades. Like a star-filled night sky, those eyes sparkled with every glance. A story, a lesson, a fragment of the profound knowledge she had accumulated throughout her long and eventful life. To the people of Hillcrest, Madame Cara was not just an elderly woman. She symbolized resilience, a guiding mentor, and the guardian of the village's soul. In their eyes, she was a source of inspiration and a pillar of spiritual support, someone they turned to for advice or comfort. Though modest and simple, her home exuded warmth and a sense of sacredness. Built from stones and timber that had weathered the test of time, the house stood on the edge of the village, a meeting point between humanity and nature. Surrounding Madame Cara's small home were towering ancient trees, standing tall like silent guardians of time. Their dense, interwoven canopies formed natural green umbrellas, shielding the space below from the harsh sunlight and sudden rain showers. The leaves rustled when the gentle breeze passed, whispering stories of a distant past, tales of generations who had lived, loved, and sacrificed to preserve this land. Beneath the old trees, a carpet of lush, soft grass stretched like a natural tapestry, offering a serene and soothing retreat. Here, under the shade of these ancient giants, the villagers often gathered to listen to Madame Cara's profound and inspiring stories. Her tales about love, hope, or loss brought a rare sense of peace, as if the very space itself had absorbed and amplified the strength and wisdom of the lessons she shared. Her home, though modest with its weathered wooden walls and moss-covered roof tiles, carried an undeniable charm. Every detail seamlessly blended with the natural surroundings, from the time-worn wooden doorstep to the small wicker chair resting on the porch. One could feel the warmth and calming energy radiating from this place, as if the house had become an extension of Madame Cara's soul, mirroring her tranquility and profound wisdom. Anyone stepping into this space could not help but feel a sense of solace and protection. Beneath the rustling canopy of trees and the crisp, clean air, they felt as though they had been transported away from the clamor of the outside world. This space, simple yet imbued with spiritual strength, invited not only listening but also a desire to linger, to reflect, and to find peace within themselves. Madame Cara was more than just a part of Hillcrest. She was the village's living soul. Her presence was like a lighthouse, guiding those who had lost their way and inspiring them to lead more meaningful lives. Every word she spoke was like a drop of sweet honey, sinking deep into the hearts of those who listened, soothing their wounds and reigniting their hope. On a cool autumn afternoon, as the sky wore a soft golden hue and the air carried the faint scent of dried grass, a group of young people gathered outside Madame Cara's small house. Their eyes sparkled with curiosity and eagerness, as though they were waiting for a door to open, leading them into a treasure trove of wisdom only she could share. Stories of Madame Cara, her profound teachings, and how her words touched the soul had drawn them here. Longing to witness her guidance firsthand, the creaky wooden door gently opened, and she appeared, greeting them with a warmth that time had not dimmed. Her snow-white hair shimmered in the afternoon light, and her eyes, bright and deep like a tranquil lake, seemed to hold countless tales. With a gentle gesture, she invited them inside, making the group feel as if they had stepped into another world where time slowed, and everything carried a profound meaning. Her home, though modest, exuded a special atmosphere. The interior was simple, adorned with wooden furnishings, yet every detail seemed to tell a story. At the center of the room stood an old wooden table, its surface worn smooth by time, bearing the marks of countless conversations, warm meals, and moments of heartfelt sharing. On the walls hung a few neatly framed black and white photographs, snapshots of past generations from the village of Hillcrest, serving as a quiet reminder of the connection between the past and present. The young visitors took their seats around the table, the room falling into a hushed anticipation. Their excitement was almost palpable, as they felt they were on the verge of learning something extraordinary that would stay with them forever. Madame Cara sat at the head of the table, her presence a blend of quiet authority and gentle kindness. She didn't need to speak for the room to feel her impact. Her presence filled the space with reverence and peace. With her characteristic calmness, she began to speak. Her voice was gentle, like an autumn breeze, carrying the earthy scent of wisdom accumulated over the years. Her words were not elaborate, but each sentence carried a depth of sincerity and insight, as if she were sharing a piece of her soul. She spoke of the importance of patience and how empathy and dedication could transform not only one's life, but also those around them. The young listeners sat quietly, not wanting to disrupt the serene atmosphere. They felt as though they were not merely learning, but connecting to something much deeper, a spiritual force that Madame Cara had woven through her life's journey. That small room on that autumn afternoon became more than just a physical space. It turned into a pivotal moment in the lives of those young individuals. It was where they found inspiration to embark on their journeys of self-discovery and exploration of the world around them. She shared stories about life, love, challenges, and victories that had shaped her into the person she was. Her words were not mere sentences. They were like windows opening into a world of the soul, brimming with deep emotions and profound meaning. The young people sat silently, attentively absorbing every word, their hearts stirred by the weight of the wisdom being imparted. Her story seemed to carve into their minds, leaving an indelible impression. Among them was a young man whose eyes sparkled with an intense curiosity that stood out. He was known for his bravery and unafraid to ask questions others might shy away from. Since hearing about Madame Kara, he had been captivated by her wisdom. If anyone could answer the question that had weighed on his mind for so long, he believed it could only be her. After a brief moment of hesitation, he decided to break the silence. Clearing his throat, he spoke nervously and determinedly. "Madame Kara, may I ask you a very personal question?" Madame Kara tilted her head slightly, her eyes alight with interest. She turned her full attention to him, her gentle smile instantly warming the room. "Of course, my dear," she replied, her voice both soothing and encouraging. "Ask whatever is heavy on your heart." Taking a deep breath, the young man asked, "Madam, what is the true meaning of oral intimacy? I've heard so much about it, but I want to understand more. Could there be something deeper behind this act?" The room fell into a tense silence. The other youths exchanged glances, their awkwardness and discomfort visible on their faces. They weren't sure how Madame Kara would react to such a bold personal question. Yet she remained calm, her smile unwavering. Her eyes reflected understanding, and she did not shy away from the query. Instead, she leaned forward slightly, clasping her hands on the aged wooden table. Her gaze was gentle, but filled with a quiet authority, as though she had already begun to form her thoughtful response. "I'm happy that you dared to ask," she began, her voice carrying a sincerity that brought a hushed stillness to the room. "This is not an easy topic, but it holds a much deeper meaning than many realize." She paused briefly, allowing her words to settle before continuing. "The act you refer to, oral intimacy, is often misunderstood in today's world. Most people view it simply as a physical act, expressing pleasure or desire. However, when it is done with love, respect, and mutual consent, it carries a far more sacred significance." Her voice was gentle, yet imbued with the weight of time and experience. It is a gesture of profound vulnerability and trust. When someone offers such intimacy to their partner, they open themselves completely, not just physically, but spiritually. At its purest essence, this act is a sacred exchange between two people, a manifestation of love without barriers, where there is no judgment, only complete acceptance. The room was enveloped in a reverent silence, the young listeners captivated by her every word. They realized that her answer was not merely about a specific act, but revealed a profound perspective on intimacy, genuine connection, and the trust necessary to build lasting relationships. Madame Kara gently began to share a story, one that had been passed down through generations in her family. It was a tale of their ancestors, who believed that intimacy, in any form, was a reflection of the deep connection between souls. Her eyes shone with a thoughtful glimmer as she spoke of their ancient beliefs, that such connections extended far beyond the physical and were a sacred expression of spirit and emotion. She explained that in her ancestors' time, oral intimacy was considered a special ritual through which a man expressed his reverence for the divine feminine energy within his partner. It was not merely a physical act, but a profound gesture of humility, devotion, and respect. Men who understood the significance of this act were not only lovers, but also regarded as wise souls within the community. They recognized that through such an act, they were honoring the life-giving energy, a symbol of creation and rebirth in the world. Madame Kara emphasized that in those moments, men who truly valued and understood the sacred nature of intimacy were seen as wise leaders. They were not only respected by their partners, but also revered by the entire community. These men were not just lovers or companions. They were symbols of profound understanding and courage, individuals who recognized that true intimacy was built upon a foundation of respect, empathy, and absolute trust. Her words were like a gentle song, each phrase a melody that resonated in the air, filling the room with a profound reverence. The young listeners sat in silence, captivated by her story. Their minds seemed to expand, absorbing the deep meaning in every word she spoke. Madame Cara was not just sharing a story. She was imparting a philosophy on viewing intimacy and the connection between souls through the lens of reverence and pure love. One of the young people in the group felt his heart stir, as though illuminated by a newfound understanding. He saw the true meaning of intimacy extending far beyond physical boundaries. It was not merely about closeness, but about a connection on a deeper level, where emotions and spirit intertwined. He realized true intimacy was the union of respect, devotion, and love in its purest form, unshackled by societal norms or prejudices. Madame Cara paused, her gaze sweeping across the room as if to ensure that every word she spoke had reached the hearts of everyone present. She smiled, a gentle yet commanding smile, as if she trusted that these lessons would be heard and cherished and practiced by the young people sitting before her. The room was silent, not from a lack of sound, but because everyone was deep in thought, allowing her words to sink deeply into their hearts and minds. As night fell, the young people gradually departed from Madame Cara's humble home, carrying a profound understanding of themselves and the world around them. They sought wisdom, but what they received far exceeded their initial expectations. Each of them felt like a new door had been opened, revealing a world rich with meaning and values they had never considered before. Outside, the last traces of the sunset faded, giving way to the quiet embrace of night that blanketed the village of Hillcrest. A thin mist crept through the narrow streets, gently wrapping around each house with a cool, calming breath, as though the entire village was settling into a peaceful slumber. Yet within the modest home of Madame Cara, the atmosphere was alive with a different energy, a vibrant intensity of emotion and reflection. The conversation between Madame Cara and the young people went far beyond the usual teachings about love or respect. It evolved into a profound discussion, an emotional journey illuminating the small room with curiosity, attention, and awe. Every question asked and every answer given by Madame Cara carried the weight of understanding and experience, helping each person in the group better appreciate the true values of intimacy, reverence, and human connection. In those moments, silence was no longer an absence, but a meaningful pause, a space where each individual was immersed in their thoughts. With her bright eyes and a voice both gentle and commanding, Madame Cara guided them through concepts far beyond what they had previously known. She did not merely share knowledge. She fostered a sense of connection, as if she was helping them uncover parts of their souls they had never explored. As they exited her home, each carried a piece of the stories and lessons Madame Cara had imparted. Their hearts felt inspired, and their steps along the misty village paths seemed lighter and more confident. Her modest home had become a beacon, guiding and illuminating the paths of those seeking understanding and true connection. Driven by an intense desire to uncover more profound lessons, the group of young people sought the wisdom of other elders in the village, those who had lived through decades of love, loss, and the complexities of life. They made their way to the home of Mr. Asher, one of the most respected elders in the community. He was renowned for his wisdom and ability to tell stories that resonated deeply, like melodies that lingered forever in the heart. Mr. Asher's home was nestled deep within the village, surrounded by towering ancient trees that seemed to guard a precious treasure. As the group stepped inside, they were greeted by the cozy warmth of the small house. The walls were adorned with old artifacts, tools, photographs, and mementos, each telling the story of an era long gone. Mr. Asher sat beside the fireplace, the flickering flames casting dancing shadows across his wrinkled face, as if the light was eager to listen to every word he spoke. Asher began recounting tales from his youth, stories about the men of the village who, after a long day of hard labor in the fields, never forgot to express their love and appreciation for their wives. Their gestures were neither grand nor ostentatious, but they carried profound meaning. It might be a firm hand squeeze after a tiring day, a tender gaze shared by the firelight, or simply listening attentively as their wives recounted the small details of their day. He emphasized that love is not merely about physical closeness, but absolute trust, the willingness to be vulnerable, and the courage to share one's most genuine emotions. Love, he said, is a journey, not a destination. It is a commitment to continually learn about each other, to keep loving, and to keep accepting. Asher's stories were about love and the profound respect that partners shared for one another. It was the kind of respect built through simple yet sincere moments, shared experiences, and mutual understanding cultivated over many years. He spoke of how couples in the village had weathered the most demanding challenges together, seasonal storms, irreplaceable losses, and how, through these hardships, their love grew more profound and more enduring. As night fell and the fire dwindled, casting the room in a faint, flickering glow, Asher shared one final lesson. His voice, gentle yet powerful, resonated like the final note of a melody closing a symphony. True love, he said, is not about what we receive, but about what we give, with devotion, selflessness, and an open heart. The young people sat silently, his words sinking deeply into their souls. As they left Asher's home that night, they carried the stories he had told and a profound sense of respect and heartfelt gratitude. Their hearts were full of emotion, and their minds buzzed with reflections on the depth of the lessons they had just learned. Walking through the quiet village streets, under a sky sparkling with stars, they realized their lives had been forever changed. The stories of love, respect, and dedication were no longer just fleeting lessons. They had become guiding lights, illuminating the path ahead and steering them on their journeys. The profound lessons the group had received from Madame Kara and Asher did not stop with them. They began sharing what they had learned with their families, friends, and neighbors as they returned to their daily lives. The stories and wisdom spread gradually through conversations and gestures, like ripples on a calm lake, touching every corner of the village of Hillcrest. Before long, the change became evident in each household. The women of the village, who had often been taken for granted in their roles as wives and mothers, began to feel a newfound sense of appreciation. They were not only listened to, but understood, loved, and honored. Small yet meaningful gestures from their husbands and children made them feel truly seen and valued, not just as homekeepers, but as individuals with their worth and contributions. Conversely, the men of the village also began to change. Inspired by the teachings of Asher and Madame Kara, they started to see love not as a duty or obligation, but as a gift to be given with sincerity. Instead of fulfilling their conventional roles, they expressed love through simple yet profound actions. It could be something as small as preparing a humble meal, listening to their wives' daily stories, or simply sitting together in silence, cherishing each other's presence under a star-filled sky. These small moments warmed the hearts of those who received them and nurtured the bonds between them, making their relationships stronger and more enduring. The transformation did not stop within individual families. It spread throughout the community. The villagers began treating one another with greater kindness and empathy. Gentle words and reconciliatory handshakes replaced minor conflicts. Couples, whether married for years or just beginning their journeys, learned to nurture their relationships with love and respect, rather than letting them drift by carelessly. The village of Hillcrest seemed to come alive, not with noise and commotion, but with the warmth radiating from genuine, loving connections that brought everyone closer together. Asher and Madame Kara's teachings, planted the seeds of change and inspired the villagers to nurture and cultivate them. Small gestures, like a gentle hug or a caring inquiry after a long day's work, to more significant actions, such as solving challenges together or sharing moments of joy, love, and respect, gradually became inseparable in their daily lives. No longer abstract concepts spoken of in words alone, love and appreciation now manifested clearly in every relationship, between spouses, parents, and children, neighbors and friends. Those who once took acts of care for granted now understood that these small but meaningful gestures form the foundation of happiness and lasting connections. Each morning, as the sun's rays touched the rooftops, they illuminated the fields, or glistened on the tranquil lake and shone on hearts, awakening a new awareness of love. The atmosphere in the village grew warmer, not just from the sunlight, but from the bonds that now united the community, a light emanating from within, ignited by profound wisdom and sincere love. The village had become more than just a place to live. It had transformed into a symbol of harmony and unity. Every villager, young and old, played a part in upholding the cherished values they had learned. The lessons from Asher and Madame Kara were not merely heard and forgotten. They were lived and passed on as a precious legacy for generations to come. Asher and Madame Kara observed the changes in the village with quiet joy and deep contentment. Day by day, they witnessed the transformation of the community they had devoted their lives to. It was a shift in how people treated one another and how they perceived love and relationships. Extravagant gifts, lavish bouquets, or grand gestures do not measure true love. Instead, it is expressed through small yet deeply meaningful acts, gestures born of genuine care and kindness. It could be a gentle touch on the shoulder to offer comfort in a moment of difficulty, a warm hand holding another to provide reassurance, or the tender act of wiping away a silent tear. These simple moments carry immense weight, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of those who receive them. These small actions are not only expressions of love, but also the threads that weave the connection between two souls. A heartfelt hug when words fail, a tender gaze shared in silence, or simply listening to someone with your whole heart. These acts hold a profound value that surpasses any material gift. In these gestures, one feels the true presence of the other, a reassurance that they matter and are deeply loved. Love, in its purest form, requires neither grand displays nor elaborate gestures. It resides in the moments we choose to be present, to care for, and to understand one another. A husband quietly preparing a warm cup of tea when he sees his wife is tired, or a wife gently draping a blanket over her husband who has fallen asleep on the sofa. These small acts, though simple, form the sturdy foundation of lasting love. These quiet moments provide comfort and nurture relationships, deepening the bond and respect between two people. They prove that love is not found in grandiose acts, but in presence, sincerity, and the seemingly small gestures that hold an entire world of emotion. It is within these humble actions that the true meaning of love is found, a connection that endures and transcends time. Asher and Madame Kara, with hearts full of compassion and understanding, continued guiding the younger generations in the village. They knew that as long as people valued love in its truest and purest form, the village of Hillcrest would remain a place of harmony, unity, and spiritual strength. With every word and lesson, they planted seeds of hope in the hearts of the young, passing on the flame of kindness and dedication. Asher often spent his mornings sitting beneath the great ancient tree at the center of the village, where people would gather to listen to his stories. He recounted times of hardship when the village faced natural disasters and losses, yet endured through unity and faith in love and shared humanity. These stories were not just historical lessons, but reminders that love is not merely an emotion. It is action, a commitment to nurturing relationships through every circumstance. In her modest home, Madame Cara continued to impart wisdom through deep conversations with young women, teaching them to recognize their self-worth and love not just others, but also themselves. She often emphasized that love is not about unconditional sacrifice, but a balance of giving, receiving respect, and empathy. Like a refreshing stream, her teachings flowed into the hearts of the young, empowering them and instilling confidence in their ability to navigate life with strength and self-assurance. The legacy Asher and Madame Cara left behind was not merely a collection of stories or fleeting words of advice. It became an inseparable part of the people's daily lives in the village of Hillcrest, deeply embedded in how they treated one another. This legacy lived on in the kindness they extended, every glance, every small but meaningful gesture, and the way they learned to love with selflessness and sincerity. The lessons taught by Asher and Madame Cara did not fade or end with one generation. Instead, they spread like an unending stream, through stories passed down, through hearts that were touched, like a sacred flame, illuminating the path for future generations. Through the guidance of the two elders, the people of Hillcrest understood that true love lies not in expecting what one will receive, but in willingly giving without calculation or self-interest, with an open and genuine heart. These values became the foundation of their community, transforming the small village into a place where love was not merely a fleeting emotion, but an inexhaustible energy. This force bound relationships together in harmony and unity. Every morning, as the first rays of sunlight illuminated the village, it wasn't just the houses or fields bathed in light, but also the hearts of the people who lived there. It was the light of understanding, of true love that Asher and Madame Cara had sparked. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, like holding someone's hand when they were weary or sharing a smile on a difficult day, had become symbols of the village, a living testament to the priceless lessons passed down. And so, their legacy was not confined to stories told late at night or memories recalled on special occasions. It thrived in everyday gestures, the quiet yet meaningful presence of loving actions, and the new generations who continued to nurture and spread the light that Asher and Madame Cara had ignited. Like an ever-flowing river, this legacy would never run dry, continuing to bring life and hope to this small village through the years. What part of these lessons resonated most deeply with you? Is there something you feel could be applied to your daily life? Perhaps in how you build and sustain relationships, or how you express love and care to the people you hold dear? We genuinely look forward to hearing your thoughts. So please share your feelings in the comments section below. Your feedback is not only a tremendous support for us, but can also serve as an inspiration to others, helping the community learn and grow together. If you found this video valuable, show your support by clicking the like button, sharing it with friends and family, and subscribing to our channel so you don't miss any meaningful content in the future. Your engagement and encouragement are the driving force that motivates us to continue bringing deep, insightful lessons and stories that inspire. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We eagerly await hearing your stories and experiences, how these lessons have touched your life, changed how you view love and care, and how you treat those around you. Don't hesitate to share. Your journey could be the light that guides and inspires others.